You're driving down a deserted highway in the middle of the night. No houses, no gas stations, nothing but darkness stretching to the horizon. Then suddenly, your stomach twists in pain. A few minutes later, the crisis is over. But as you search your car, you make a horrifying discovery. There's not a single roll of toilet paper anywhere. In that moment, you realize just how dependent modern life is on one simple invention. But here's the astonishing truth. For almost all of human history, toilet paper didn't exist. So how did ancient humans stay clean for thousands of years without it? Our journey begins in the mighty Roman Empire, a civilization celebrated for its aqueducts, roads, and engineering marvels. Yet behind that image of sophistication was a bathroom habit that would make most people cringe today. Public toilets were long stone benches lined with keyhole-shaped openings, where dozens of people sat shoulder to shoulder, chatting as if they were in a cafe. Privacy simply didn't exist. Instead of toilet paper, Romans relied on a tool called the tersorium, a sea sponge attached to the end of a wooden stick. After using it, the sponge was rinsed in a bucket of vinegar or salt water before being left for the next person. Whether that actually disinfected it is still debated, but one thing is certain: everyone shared the same sponge. If the tersorium wasn't available, some people reached for smooth ceramic fragments known as pessoi. Ancient Greek writers even described people scratching the names of political enemies onto broken pottery before using it, turning a trip to the toilet into one final insult. Unfortunately, these hard shards often caused painful injuries and infections. But even stranger discoveries awaited archaeologists thousands of miles away. Along the ancient Silk Road, excavations uncovered bamboo sticks wrapped in cloth, still carrying microscopic parasite eggs after nearly 2,000 years. Those tiny traces revealed something remarkable. Travelers weren't just exchanging silk and spices. They were unknowingly spreading diseases across continents. Long before civilization created bathroom tools, nature had already solved the problem. Across the world, ancient humans adapted to whatever their environment offered, turning ordinary plants, stones, and even snow into surprisingly effective cleaning materials. In the dry canyons of present-day Texas, archaeologists discovered fossilized human waste alongside smooth river pebbles, shredded agave fibers, and carefully prepared prickly pear cactus pads with their sharp spines removed. These weren't random objects. They were evidence of practical solutions developed through generations of experience. Far to the north, where forests disappeared beneath endless ice, the Inuit relied on handfuls of soft snow during the winter and thick tundra moss when the warmer months arrived. Deep within the Amazon rainforest, the Siriono people developed an even more unusual technique. Instead of using an object, they leaned against a flexible young tree and rubbed against the trunk until they were clean. Perhaps the most famous solution came from colonial North America. After harvesting corn, families saved the dried cobs for a second purpose. Their rough but absorbent texture made them surprisingly useful. In many rural outhouses, a single corn cob hung from a string, ready for whoever entered next. It may sound shocking today, but these methods reveal an important truth. Humans didn't wait for technology to solve their problems. They mastered the environments around them and transformed nature itself into an everyday tool. When Hollywood portrays the Middle Ages, the world is usually covered in mud, filth, and disease. But the archaeological evidence tells a far more surprising story. Medieval people certainly lacked modern plumbing, yet many cared deeply about personal hygiene. Every morning, people commonly washed their hands and faces using basins of water. They cleaned their teeth with hazel sticks and herbal powders made from mint and other plants. Wealthy nobles often used soft wool, hemp cloth, or even luxurious fabrics after using the toilet, while ordinary villagers relied on moss, hay, straw, or leaves gathered from nearby forests. Castles were designed with projecting stone toilets called garderobes, allowing waste to fall directly into the moat below. In crowded cities, however, sanitation became a much greater challenge. Residents often emptied chamber pots from upper windows after shouting, "Gardez low! Watch out for the water!" giving anyone below only a few seconds to escape. Imagine walking through a narrow medieval street at exactly the wrong moment. Not the most pleasant commute, is it? To keep cities functioning, professional workers known as night soil men collected human waste under the cover of darkness. Even more astonishing, one of England's most prestigious royal positions was the groom of the stool, a trusted courtier responsible for assisting King Henry VI in the bathroom. Strange as it sounds today, this intimate role often brought enormous political influence because it granted unmatched access to the king. For thousands of years, humanity relied on whatever nature or local culture could provide. Then, one civilization quietly introduced an idea that would eventually transform bathrooms across the globe: paper. The earliest recorded use of toilet paper appeared in China during the 6th century. By the Ming Dynasty, the imperial court was producing hundreds of thousands of specially made sheets every year, with the emperor's family receiving enormous scented versions reserved exclusively for royalty. While Europe was still experimenting with cloth and straw, China had already turned paper into a luxury hygiene product. Meanwhile, in America, people found a far more practical solution. Many households hung copies of the old Farmer's Almanac inside their outhouses. After reading a page, they simply tore it out and used it. Information and sanitation came together in one surprisingly efficient package. The real revolution began in 1857, when Joseph Gayeti introduced the first commercially sold toilet paper. A few decades later, the Scott brothers popularized the familiar toilet paper roll that we still recognize today. But here's something most people never hear about. Until 1935, manufacturers proudly advertised toilet paper as splinter-free. That wasn't just clever marketing. Earlier, paper often contained tiny wood splinters left behind during production. Now imagine discovering that, the hard way. Sometimes, progress isn't measured by grand inventions, but by the disappearance of very painful problems. Today, toilet paper feels as essential as running water. Yet, that convenience comes at a cost. Producing billions of rolls every year consumes vast amounts of trees, water, and energy, making it far less sustainable than many people realize. Ironically, the future may look a lot like the past. Around the world, bidets and smart toilets are bringing water back as the primary cleaning method, offering better hygiene while reducing waste. So here's a question for you. If you had to choose between toilet paper and water for the rest of your life, which one would you keep? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for the next episode, where we'll uncover how ancient humans accidentally discovered iron and changed civilization forever. The history of cleanliness isn't a story of primitive people becoming civilized. It's the story of human ingenuity, finding smart solutions with whatever resources were available. From sea sponges and bamboo sticks to moss, snow, corn cobs, and finally toilet paper, every generation adapted to the world around them. The next time you reach for a roll of toilet paper, remember that you're using one of humanity's newest inventions, not its oldest tradition. And perhaps the biggest lesson is this: sometimes the simplest daily habits have the most fascinating histories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary, where we uncover how ancient humans accidentally discovered iron and sparked the age of metal.